Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How are you all doing? Welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 here today on the channel. We're back on the Road to 56 mod and Man the Guns DLC. We're going to be starting a brand new campaign as the British Empire. So if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on. Let me know in the comment section down below feedback and suggestions for the series. And let's get stuck into it, of course. First up, I want to make a deal with you. If this video hits, say, I don't know, 500 likes within 24 hours, I will do a double upload here today and release the second video instantly. If not, you just have to wait a little bit longer for that next upload. So it's the 1st of January 1936. We're going to be going down the non-aligned King Edward VIII sort of tree. Depending how quick we go down the sort of monarchy route, we very well might have King George V as our figurehead. I'll also put in the description below all the mods I'm using, UI, Faction Manager, Chaos AI as well. That's really going to spice things up in the campaign. Also got to say a huge thank you to Paradox Interactive for sending me a code for Man the Guns and making this Let's Play possible. I want to do more Hearts of Iron on the channel. I had a blast doing my United States campaign. I could definitely see myself maybe playing as the Soviet Union next, and then maybe as Germany itself. So the main objective of this series is to reinstate the monarchy and build a massive and great British Empire. Let's make Britain great again. So, I've never actually played as Great Britain on Hearts of Iron 4. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up, especially with this new national focus of the non-aligned sort of monarchy route. I've left all of the other historical factions on historical for now, so it's going to be interesting to see sort of what sort of happens in this series. So we've got a couple of options here. We can go down the King's Party and ally with Germany. Once we get King Edward VIII on the throne, I'm more than happy to ally with the Germans. So I can sort of foresee how this series is going to go. If we ally with the Germans, which is what I'm going to be aiming for and going to do, we will be at war with, obviously, the people they war deck, the Netherlands, France, Belgium, Poland, and then the Soviet Union eventually. It'll be interesting to see if Italy joins the Axis, of course, and I imagine we'll be drawn into a war in Canada and the United States. Now, there's a couple of options here. We can basically cause civil wars in our puppets as well. Looking at the allies at the moment, we currently have some of the bigger names like Canada, South Africa, the British Raj, and Australia. So we're going to have to keep an eye on our overseas territories and probably going to have to bring them back into the fold if a civil war goes out. I can actually disband the allies straight up, but I'm not going to do that just yet. So let me know in the comments where you'd like me to expand and conquer. This is where I'm sort of thinking this is where the series is going to go. Basically helping out the Germans who they're at war with, knocking out our former allies, making them come back. Probably going to war with the Soviet Union, maybe Japan to some extent as well. So let's zoom in on Great Britain and get stuck right into this series. So currently our Prime Minister is Stanley Baldwin. We currently have the Conservative Party in charge at 97%. Communist is currently 1 and the Fascists are 2. We need to go to non-aligned eventually. Volunteer, we want to try and get that up as well. We also want to switch over to early mobilization at some point. Looking at the political advisors, now I believe the non-aligned one is Winston Churchill. Yeah, so Winston Churchill, the Royalist Bulldog, War Support 10, Daily Support for Unaligned. So currently ruling non-aligned, has completed the King's Party. So this is what we need to go to eventually as well. At the moment, my national spirits has the London Naval Treaty. We have British Stoicism here as well, which gives us an ideology drift defense of 50. We have a war to end all wars, which is a minus 25 recruitable population. And we have King George V currently as our figurehead. Going into our occupied territories, we can actually release a fair few. If that's something you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments. Maybe, I don't know, maybe giving an African nation back its ancestral homeland might help us out. Okay, so looking at our national focus, so early on, what I want to go down with is limited rearmament, go with the shadow scheme as well, industrial effort, getting that extra research slot. There's some really nice general rearmaments here as well. Reinforcing the empire, I don't think I particularly want to go down this just yet. There are some interesting things here about holding Hong Kong, the Singapore strategy, the Burma Road, like getting good defenses here in Asia might be a good idea. But reinforcing the empire itself, giving buffs to Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, I don't particularly want to do that. That's more sort of a democratic sort of thing to do, and guide the colonies, decolonisation as well. So we've got a couple of options here. We're going to go with change the course straight away, and we'll go down to the King's Party, we'll go down to the continental commitments, and then we'll ally with Germany. From then on, I think we'll sort of back the Germans in any war we can, while getting our, obviously, military factories, limited rearmament, and economy back on track. We've got a couple of interesting options here now. God save the King. We can appeal to the loyalists in the, for example, former colonies, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, Australia. We can also reclaim the jewel in the Crown, which is actually take and fight India, allowing a forward operating base in Ceylon. That's definitely something we can do. So that's where I'm sort of thinking to head down, go through this, build up our economy a bit, and then go down with God Save the King when we sort of need to have when we have a proper military industrial zone and sort of effort, we'll actually go over and fight the colonies. But it's really going to be interesting to see how this series shapes up. Like I said, it is a blind Let's Play. I haven't played as the UK before, haven't played as non-aligned, so the events and how this shapes up, especially with Chaos AI, is going to be an absolute blast. Okay, let's have a look at our decisions. So, the gateway to Europe, okay, demand reduction of German trade. No, I'm quite happy for that because I am going to be allying with Germany. Naval treaties as well. We can withdraw from that if we wanted to. We can support China. Looking at my political actions, giving refuge to German and Italian scientists might be a good idea, but does that... Right, okay. So I was curious to see if it actually pisses off the Germans doing that. So we've got our faction manager, of course. We can straight up leave, dismantle the faction if we want, and we have some foreign influences which we can push if need be. Okay, let's dive into our research slots. We currently have 4 of them. So we're going to go straight into industry, go with production. We're also going to go straight into construction as well. Flipping back over to engineering, we're going to go with a 4% research buff for now. And then we have our spare 4th slot. Going into radars, probably not a bad idea. Okay, I think we're going to go 1918, get the weapons support equipment, which we don't have, surprisingly, just yet. Okay, so obviously getting our armaments back up is a really good idea. Support companies as well, engineering, field hospital, logistics. I really do like upgrading our tanks, especially to at least medium. Heavies, I think I want to go down sort of the medium sort of route. Artillery is definitely going to be something we need to do. Looking at our land doctrine, we currently have great battle plan. I used to go with mobile warfare a lot earlier on in Hearts of Iron, but now with the Man the Guns DLC, you're actually better off to go down with superior firepower as Great Britain. And we'll work our way down that. Naval-wise, I'm not really too fussed about. The thing is, right, the only other navy that can really come up against us is probably the States. With myself, the Germans, and the Italian, and potentially the Japanese navy, we're going to be able to rule the waves, rule Britannia, and should be able to crush any sort of democratic nation. Naval doctrine as well. I'm thinking of going down and staying with the fleet in being. Moving to my air support, they're getting some better quality fighters. The Hurricane is definitely a good idea, and the Wellington Tactical Bomber. Air doctrine wise, I used to like going down as well battlefield support, but now in the Man the Guns, I'm actually going to go down with strategic destruction, because you get some really nice bonuses here, especially down the left-hand side with ground support and whatnot. Engineering is pretty obviously self-explanatory, and along with industry eventually as well. Okay, trade-wise, looking at the UK, we currently have 11 oil, we're exporting 12. 52 aluminium, exporting 52, 41 rubber, exporting 44, tungsten 17, steel 127, chromium 74. Most of these are coming from our puppets and colonial territories, which we're going to have to defend. Moving along now to construction, I'm going to start off building some civilian factories in the south of England. Just for my own curiosity, where can we actually build more factories? Oh, we can actually build more in Cairo and Alexandria, in the Suez Canal. Alright, so let's start off with getting a lot of civilian factories down in East Anglia, and we'll go into the Midlands as well. So we'll chuck those in. So we'll build a decent amount. The rest I want to make in the south, military factories. Eventually, we've even got some here in Northern Ireland as well. So that will do here for now. And 50, 50, 40, 40. So I guess we build some civilian factories down here in Cairo. So it's like we've cored that territory, which is interesting. So here's my construction for now. Moving on to my production, we have 14 military factories, 19 dockyards, and we've got a hell of a lot of ships here as well. Okay, so let's start off and have a look at what's best to sort of deploy this. I want this a little bit higher up. Do we have motorized at our disposal? No, we're not actually getting any motorized in, so we definitely want to try and do that. Bring that higher up here. Come on. There we go. Cool. And we'll have that just below the support. Okay, what else have we got here? Towered artillery and anti-air. We don't need anti-air just yet. Okay, looking at our tanks, we've got the light tanks. And looking at our air force capabilities, we've got the Gladiator fighter and the interwar bomber. Probably getting some close air support isn't a bad idea for now. Going and splashing the rest on sort of transport planes, naval bombers, I don't think that's something we need to do just yet. So let's make sure everyone has at least a 2. We'll leave 1 for the rest, and I guess we'll go back with support equipment. Try and build up our stockpile. Recruit and deployment for now. We actually want to get our logistics on track. We have a not too large of an army, but definitely workable. We're not going to war with the Germans, so we really can leave most of Britain undefended. So we want to try and get our infantry, motorized support, and artillery back on track with our logistics. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions. I briefly mentioned before, this is a sort of a blind Let's Play. So for you that have played a lot of a non-aligned Great Britain series, let me know some of the hiccups and problems along the way that could occur. Stability 87, war support 15. We currently have 205k manpower. Our oil reserves are currently down a little bit. We've got some convoys here. So we've got no divisions in basic training, that's fine. And I guess decisions-wise, we'll leave that for now. We've got to deal with our armies. Okay, so let's deal with the British Army. So we currently have 32 infantry in action. We also currently have 3 units of cavalry and 1 tank division. Let's switch by type. Where are these cavalry, out of curiosity? Oh, they're actually, apart from the one here in Alexandria, they're all on the mainland of Britain. So we're going to disband these because I personally would prefer the manpower back. So let's have a look on the island of Great Britain itself. So we currently have 17 divisions. Seeing we're going to be allying with the Germans as soon as possible, we really can leave Great Britain itself quite undefended. So I think 5 divisions down in the south is more than enough to defend Great Britain itself. So what we'll do, we'll make sure all these ports are currently garrisoned adequately. And then what I want to do is essentially redeploy the rest of my armies here to London. We might need 6. That might be enough, because really we need to defend our forward, let's say, colonial territories. So let's have a look at Great Britain. Let's have a look at the territory we actually occupy, which is quite substantial around the world. So, for example, here, looking over into the Americas, let's have a look here. So, we currently have, is this Halifax, Newfoundland? Yep. And then we've got a piece of Canada up here. So, potentially bringing in 4 divisions on either side to keep this territory in check is most definitely crucial. Over here in the Caribbean, I'm not too fussed about it, as we're probably not going to be attacking any Central American or South American countries just yet due to the Americans holding supremacy there. We've also got a peace on the border here with Bolivia and Venezuela. In Africa, it's going to be a little bit different. We currently have 3 divisions in the north. Maybe redeploying 1 more here might be a good idea. And we have how many in the south? 4 divisions. I think 4 divisions is enough to be on the border with South Africa. Over here as well, it's mostly, I haven't actually looked at our, where is it, resources. So is there much resources actually within the Middle East here that we actually own? Nothing too crazy. So, redeploying troops from there might be a good idea. I definitely need to put troops here as well on Ceylon, and it's imperative that we hold on to the British Malaya here. We really need to do that, as we're more than likely going to be at war with the Dutch and the Dutch East Indies. We're probably not going to be at war with Siam, but you never know what's sort of going to happen here with the Australians and whatnot. So we're probably going to have to redeploy most of this army here now. Okay, let's start off with moving these guys down to South Africa. And you here as well. We'll leave 3 here for now. You can stay here in Malta just fine. Okay, so once we sort of rally up with you guys, we'll try and split this up and send everyone out to defend, crucially, Ceylon, British Malaya, South Africa, Egypt, and of course our territories up in the north here. Right, let's have a look at our navy and deal with that. Okay, so we currently have 22 fleets, 5 carriers, 12 battleships, 42 submarines, 128 destroyers, and 16 heavy cruisers. So what I want to do is grab everyone here. I want to grab all my fleets. I want to move and relocate them to the British Channel. And when we want to ideally naval invade and relocate somewhere, this is where we're going to be going. So get everyone here where you can, and we'll come here in the port of Dover. Allow everyone to relocate there. Okay, Air Force wise, that's another thing we can look at. We currently have 28 air wings, 300 close air support, 680 fighters, 140 naval, 240 tactical. And I imagine that is really spread out all around our empire. So we want to try and relocate the majority of them back to England. Okay, we're just going around here and relocating most of my air bases to England, and when we need to get air support, we can easily navally invade. So most of it is around here, China. Oh yeah, we've got Hong Kong as well, don't we? Okay, so we need to hold on to that. We might be at war with China early on, depending how the Japanese sort of go. Okay, I think we're ready to end the turn and sort of continue. I've done my sort of short bit of administration, you know where I'm sort of going for this series, and it's going to be interesting to see how things sort of shape up. So we're going to have some state integration here as well, and we're currently slowly rallying up my forces in London to send my armies out to defend my colonial outposts. Okay, so I'm slowly reallocating my production of ships to the home fleet. We've managed to rally up 238, which is quite substantial. We're also going to be able to bring in a major admiral as well. So we've got James Fawn Somerville, or Andrew Cunning. He does seem to be, well, quite cunning, I guess. He's got a lot more stats there compared to James. So let's bring in Andrew Cunningham, and we'll bring him in. Oh, King George V dies. Okay, I thought we might have been able to bring him in quick enough, but I guess you can't in Hearts of Iron 4. So, King George V dies. His Majesty has now died. What is his title? British Dominions and Emperor of India has passed away. May he rest in peace. So we now have a new figurehead, Edward VIII. We do get a mindless weekly stability, but changing the course should, well, change things up shortly. Okay, the national focus is complete. A change in course. Okay, so now that that's done, we can go with the King's Party straight up. We do not meet the requirements. Edward VIII is married to Wallace Simpson, so we might have to wait for that, just yet before Edward can marry the American divorcee. So I guess we could... I don't know how long we have to wait. So we'll leave it a couple of days and then we might have to go down with limited rearmament. Not to waste time. Okay, we've nearly reallocated all of my Air Force, which is fantastic. We'll chuck everyone else in here for now. And we've got about 1,000 fighters, about 1.3. Nearly. Okay, that's being reallocated. Navy-wise as well, we'll keep you there. If we do need to operate, we'll get you to operate over the North Sea and the Western. Looking at Gibraltar, we're probably okay for Gibraltar for now. We could send some more reinforcements. That's something we could do. So we're sending 4 units here to Canada to defend our 2 territories here. I'm sending 1 division to... Egypt, and then I have the rest either going to Ceylon or potentially British Malaya to defend it for now. And I guess we'll leave it a couple of days just to see if we get any events about Wallace Simpson, so we're not getting any just yet. So for now, we'll quickly swing all the way back over to limited rearmament. Okay, looks like our forces have made it over to our colonies. We've still got the Italian-Ethiopian war going on. So, let's try and reform up some of our units. So you can stay here, you can stay here, and you can stay here as well. So we'll hold the bottom of South Africa here. Okay, we've got a couple of options here. Holding Tel Aviv is a good idea. There's a port here. We really need you to hold this, or maybe Cairo itself. We'll redeploy there. So 4 there's enough to hold Egypt. Okay, so we've got 2 units here now. Holding the port is probably our best interest. It's a little bit different here, though. We might need to swing someone up to the front line. Potentially there. Oh, we just need to hold the ports. We'll get them to hold the ports. That's what we need to be more invested in. Okay, so you're actually holding here in Saudi Arabia. You can be relocated to Ceylon. You need to get to the port before you can get relocated to Ceylon. So we currently have 8 divisions here. That's not too bad. We could definitely send 2 more to British Malaya. Maybe even 5. Now that I think about it. Because we need to keep these resources massively under our control. So let's send these guys to Singapore, the Gibraltar of the East. Well, the Italians won the Ethiopian War. Good to see, and limited rearmament is done. We haven't actually had any Edward VIII options just yet. Oh, the Spanish Civil War's kicked off. National Spain is at war with the Republic. I wonder if we could send aid to the fascists. Offer docking rights. No, I don't think we can, because we're still very much still not unaligned. The Second London Naval Treaty has been signed. And we'll let the coring progress naturally, because I need to save up political power for now. Okay, we've managed to save up 150 political power. We've got a couple of options. We do want to go down early mobilization at some point. We could actually increase our manpower if that's something I'd like to do. I would really like to go for Winston Churchill, but unfortunately he's currently locked away. I think Silent Warhorse for now has not completed no further... I didn't need to read that actually. Okay, we should be okay because going with the Silent Workhorse allows us to get a political power gain of 15%, which is something we definitely do need. Okay, looking at our national focus, most of it's actually locked away until Edward VIII marries Wallace Simpson, so we can't actually go down with the King's Party, nor can we go down any of this shadow scheme stuff because the world tension isn't high enough, which is a shame. Now, the only thing I can see as a benefit here for now is either going down, like right down the bottom here and going with just basically production stuff, or we could actually go down with reinforce the empire. I don't revisit colonial policy because we can get some really good developments here in Singapore and in Hong Kong and in Burma. We can get some really nice stats for ourselves. But I don't know if that's something I want to do because I don't particularly want to go to war with Japan. in the end. But since we're not doing anything, it might be a good idea, you know what I mean? Because we don't want to help out Australia, New Zealand, and Canada just yet. Because there's no guarantee that even if war does break out, we're going to be able to take the territory. So for now, we'll go reinforce the empire. I need to specifically read what this actually does. Okay, so reinforce the empire. If decolonization has not been achieved within 2 years of being communist, a civil war will start. So we should be okay going down this and supporting Asia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Settings at the moment, we're not really doing anything. Oh, here we go. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. The Treaty of Versailles has been ignored. Hitler's on the march. US Congress pass Neutrality Act. Ask the Belgians how will they initially defend themselves in 1914. Okay, so that's been signed. Interesting. Oh, here we go. The Abdication Crisis. Edward VIII, for some time, has entertained the hopes to marry the American Wallis Simpson. It's caused a constitutional crisis. So we've got a couple of options here. If he will not change his mind, the king must abdicate. So then we could actually bring in George VI, which was Queen Elizabeth's father, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we can compromise on the marriage, which gains us a base stability, changes at 5% non-aligned, or insist on a royal marriage. We get a minus 15 base stability. We're currently at 69, ironically enough. And a non-aligned would be 10% faster. We do lose a little bit of political power. I'm going to insist on a royal marriage. Now, I want to keep good old Adolf as fascist and in charge of the German Reich. I could go down potentially trying to bring back Kaiser Wilhelm, going non-aligned, but I want to keep the fascists in charge, I think, for this series, just to mix things up. Or maybe not. Maybe that's something you guys would prefer to see. Maybe a sort of monarchy resurgence throughout Europe. Let me know in the comments. The newspapers support the marriage. This is welcomed. Good. Because we could bring back maybe some of the Tsars, maybe even like the Holy Roman Empire or something in Poland, or I don't know. I think they've got something that they can do that. The Germans can take and annex most of the Germanic territory. Okay, so we've got another spare slot. Let's go down the King's Party if we can. No, we still don't meet the requirements because the marriage hasn't been officially through just yet. That's alright. Okay, how are our logistics going? We're still in a deficit of 10,000 rifles stored. The upper class opposes the marriage. They are jealous we found love. So these are the events that sort of go back and forth, depending on supporting and stuff. It's sort of just a little bit of RNG, I think. Oh, here we go. The Little Entente. Seeking to form a united front against a common enemy, France has reached out to Czechoslovakia. What? Don't come crying to us later then. Leadership purge in the Soviet Union. German Reich demands Dutch trade negotiations. We cannot allow them to drift into German sphere. What can we do in retaliation for that? Demand reduction of Dutch trade with Germany. No, I'm not interested whatsoever in doing that. I want to go with the Germans eventually. But looking at the factions, so yeah, the French alliance. So this is going to make things a little bit harder for myself and the Axis forces eventually. So the French Entente alliance. That's really cool. So Czechoslovakia has teamed up with France incredibly early on. Maybe that is sort of a repercussion of us going non-aligned, maybe. I can dissolve the allies at any point as well. But what is our opinion of each other just yet? Okay, it's still pretty early days. It's 1936 at the end of the day. Oh, here we go. Cabinet resigns. As the king has shown no intention to listen to his government, Stanley Baldwin has seen no other solution but to dissolve it. Good riddance. They shall not stop the king. Perhaps the people are right. The king should abdicate. So this is the option I've been given a couple of times if I sort of change my mind. Nope. Good riddance. And now, Yeah, 112 minus political power, a fallen government, a cabinet in crisis, 38% non-aligned to the 47 there. So it's currently the 30th of September 1936. We're still going down our construction aims, of course, engineering and whatnot, and we're trying to get King Edward VIII on the throne. Okay, looking at my logistics, we currently have 21 in the balance. We do have a minus of 77. So I think we're okay now to actually start getting some new divisions. Looking at the default for Britain, it's not too bad. I'd like them slightly a little bit larger and maybe some recon companies and stuff. What do the colonial garrisons look like? Nah, they're even more a bit bare. And we could get some tanks and motorized in as well, if that's something we'd like to do. Yeah, I think I might do that. So let's get some infantry divisions within London itself. Actually, can I get them anywhere else? For my own curiosity. Can I get... No, I was going to say, if I can get them in Egypt, because some of the territory was like cored, it might be actually beneficial being in the center of the map, ready to deploy to England, and more than likely... Asia might be more beneficial, but looks like the army is going to be made in London for now. We'll get some motorized under the way, and along with some tanks as well. Oh, here we go. Dominion breaks with the Crown as one of the representatives of the Dominion. Oh, we're powerless to stop them for now. So what happens? Removed from Allies faction, United Kingdom leaves the Commonwealth, Canada, South Africa, Raj become free. Lord Linlithgow retires. And the Commonwealth of Nations is created in Canada. We're powerless to stop them. So we didn't even have to actually dissolve the Allies ourselves straight up. So we're powerless to stop them there. So how does this look on the world stage? Yeah, so the Commonwealth of Nations has Canada, South Africa, Australia. Maybe if we were better off to break it, it might not have joined them in. Oh yeah, the French Entente Alliance is down there in the south. But India seems to be free and independent for now. Ravi, non-aligned. That's cool. Afghanistan's still now a thing, but India is free and independent. I wonder if we can get a war deck again them eventually. So this is where the war might sort of end up. We might need to reallocate some forces to British Malaya, because I want to try and get India under my control most definitely. Hey, huzzah! The royal marriage has happened. The royal marriage of King Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson. But will it mend the divides of a nation? Non-aligned stability, political power there. Good, so they're finally married. We're going to be able to go down this side of the King's Party eventually as well. We're currently 114 political power, so we'll be able to bring in Churchill. So for support for the King is no longer there. Right, overseas territory. Good, 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 good. Everything is coming up. King Edward! Okay, we can go down the King's Party now. What else really should we take note of? I've increased our manpower to limited conscription. We've got our silent workhorse in. I also went with military staff, army offensive. Research-wise, we're currently going with army supremacy down with strategic destruction. And we're also currently researching the light tank 1936 Mark Matilda. That's coming in as well. Oh, Poland seeks Baltic cooperation, a new power in the East European sphere. Mesmors has been formed, with Great Britain now dissolving the Allies and looking towards the Axis powers. The French, the Czechoslovakians and Polish seem to be hesitant, to say the least. So if Hitler does invade either Poland, Czechoslovakia or France, he's going to have a hard time about it. Oh, here we go. Pakistan declares war upon India. Okay, so what's Pakistan? Non-aligned. India non-aligned. So there's been a war broken out. They've got this region in the Bengali region. I wonder if I can somehow get in on this in any way, shape or form. No, it doesn't look likely just yet. But we've got a different war coming up. We've still got the Spanish Civil War, but the Indians are at war with the Pakistani. Finally, King Edward VIII is officially on the throne. King Edward VIII empowers the King's Party. God save the King! The King's Party is now complete. Fantastic. So we want to go down with the alliance with Germany. So what's this? Continental commitments. So a lot of the European factions hate me, except for the German Reich. So I'm currently the head of the faction. Great Britain is the faction. Technically, we are now the British Empire. Again, so now that we're unaligned, can we somehow get in on this war? With the Pakistanis? No. Mostly it's due to our negative political power. But our King Edward, our flag has changed and is now the head of the country. The Hindenburg disaster, oh the humanity. So unfortunately that's gone through. Good. Our continental commitments has been complete. Isolate the Mediterranean threat. Italy is not in a faction, fully independent. Good. So, then we want to go down with alliance with Germany. Take out Italy. That's interesting, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. It's the 22nd of June, 1937. We're currently 79% non-aligned, and the democracy's at 19%. Amelia Earhart has disappeared, so that's good for us in this save that she won't be commanding their air force, their RAF force or whatever. Oh, the end of the Spanish Civil War. And we've done with the isolation threats. So, who won? The fascists won. They're more than likely going to join the Axis in the end then. Alright, let's go with alliance with Germany and try and get this done in this episode. German Reich abandons Italy. The German Reich have informed us that they've cut off diplomatic relations with Italy. This will benefit us greatly. Yeah, so is that the sort of the two options? They go with us, or they go with them, I guess. Italy does have a rather large navy. The Germans have done us a great service. Anglo-German relations. Oh, there's been a Mexican Civil War that's kicked off. The non-aligned are at war with the fascists. Nothing's going on like any crazily in France might go communist. Czechoslovakia, they're still doing their thing. Alright, cool. I thought the States might be doing something crazy. I don't know. We've nearly hit our alliance with Germany as well now, though. Our alliance with Germany. Hey, there we go. The German Reich accepts alliance. Excellent. The German Reich has accepted our alliance. Henceforth, we will rule. We will rule sea and land alike. So, yeah, we're actually officially in the Axis now. I didn't know if it was like some sort of non-aggression sort of pact within here. No, we are officially within the Axis in the 10th of November, 1937. Along with British Malaya, who is still technically my puppet here for now. Oh, okay. I actually didn't realise that. British Malaya is my only puppet. Right. So... Shenton Thomas. I actually thought this was my territory, so I can actually request all these divisions here from them. And now we have... Okay, we've got 12. So we can actually send back these 4 units to Ceylon, because we're probably going to aim to go to war against India now then. Looking at the Indian war, they're actually not doing too well against the Pakistani. The Pakistani have lost 125k. India's lost 58. They're actually evenly matched at the moment. 8% in favour of the aggressor. So the Pakistani have taken more crucial territory, mostly in the west. Oh, that's fascinating to see. And Hitler hasn't done anything just yet either. So we might be drawn into wars with him very shortly. The Anglo-German alliance, no one can stand in our way. That has now been complete. So, now with the alliance with Germany, we've got a couple of options here. We can go down God Save the King, and we can go down and then actually get a war deck against India, and then hence war decks and claims on all of our puppets. I still think it's a little bit early for us to go into a war. 18th of November 1937. I think we should go down and try and get this additional research slot, and go and get these factories. So that will tie up the next, at least half a year, the next 150 days. And we're basically... I want to try and get involved into this war in India, but we're going to have to try and get a war deck. Oh, I do have a war deck. Do I have a war deck? Oh, okay, so I do have war decks against my other colonial factions. Or do I have war decks against everyone now? Oh, I can do that. Right, so I can... Because I'm using an instant war goal mod, I can do that. So now we can actually go to war with a lot of factions. Ireland as well, that's on the hit list as well. I need to think who I should strike against. Okay guys, welcome back. It's the 20th of December 1937, and we're going to have our first wars as King Edward VIII and as the British Empire. So, most of my armies are still defending my colonial territories, but I've made the decision on the North Ireland border to currently get 10 units here under the command of Claude, and we currently have Alan Brooke, the commander-in-chief of our armies. I've set everyone to aggressive plans as well, so we currently have 10 divisions here ready to push over from the north, hopefully take Dublin and Cork. We currently have air supremacy over the top. There's no way they're going to have anything near 1.2k fighters, so we're going to be declaring war upon Ireland here today. Also, over in the far east, I have a naval invasion for Marathas, I think, in southern India. Pakistan is actually doing really quite well against them. I've got 13 divisions here with Harold Alexander. We have William Slim actually doing the naval invasion. This army is made up of mostly British recruits, but we do have some British Malayan forces here as well. We currently have 367 of our Air Force operating over the top, but the major thing we've got going on here is the British fleet is currently operating in India. We have 250 ships operating here, which is really quite cool. So let's start off by declaring war upon Ireland. Let's claim that and allow everyone to push where you can. Let's also get a war deck on India as well. Now, funnily enough, we actually have Conquer war decks without the Instant War one as well, as we do have a lot of war decks against our former vassals and whatnot. So, we still have a lot of other forces still in operation, mostly just defending Egypt here. 3 units are here, 4 units are stationed down in South Africa, 4 units over here up in the north as well, and we've also got 4 here in British Malaya. I did rotate some of them out. So, let's skip a little bit ahead, and we'll be able to go to war with 2 factions in a moment. You want to get it exactly right. Good, our justification is all done. Okay, let's declare war now upon India. And let's also now declare war upon Ireland. So, let's change things up quite substantially now. I can call in my allies if I want. We'll just have to see. So the invasion in Northern Ireland is going to be coming on now. We've actually called Germany in here. I don't know if that was the smartest decision. Maybe not. So we want to try and push for Dublin where we can. And we have our naval invasion coming through in the south shortly. The German Reich want to send us a Lend-Lease. I'm more than happy to accept that. And our naval invasion here is going to go on. Pakistan joins the Axis. Okay, because they've currently got that war going on, don't they? They've got the Indian War. They've lost 144k to 56. They haven't done too much. They have expanded slightly, but I'm surprised how many divisions the Pakistani have here, which is interesting. Okay, my naval invasion is nearly done in the south. How are we going on the Irish border here? Oh, we're actually nearly making our way to Dublin itself. So we've taken Dublin now. let's get our forces to continue on. Okay, we're fighting on we're fighting on two fronts here, which is a little bit risky. Oh, but we've taken a port here, which is massive. So now we can rotate our men in now. We can get rid of this naval invasion. So you can sit here, you can join up in India, and we'll try and surprise and push them from the south. Pakistan is still fighting here in Calcutta, and then we can go for the bottom of India itself. So we'll wait for our units to be transported. Dublin has now been taken by Anglo forces, and it does look like the Germans are coming to help us out. The Germans have disembarked 3 units at Hull, and they're currently docking submarines there. I can't... Yeah, so... Alright. Are they in their own faction or something? No, they haven't had time to even make a faction, even if they wanted to. Okay, so my divisions have arrived in India, so... we'll keep you there further back, and we'll make a front line here. So essentially, what I want you to do is try and, well, push up and try and take India. So what's the best way for us to progress? So you got a front line here, make an offensive line. Yeah, why is that not dragging properly? Hang on. Yeah, why is that buggering up? No matter, we can try and gobble up some of this Indian territory. Okay, so we're pushing the Irish back here now. We probably can go headstrong to Cork. If we can take Cork, we should be able to capitulate Ireland. Shadow Scheme factories taken in. Good. And we're about to take York with King Edward at the helm. And that's it. Ireland has capitulated. So we've got a couple of options here. We can take the entirety of the island itself, or we can puppet it. I'm just going to take it for myself and claim the entirety of Ireland. Fantastic. We took 12,000 support equipment, which is quite significant, and now we've freed up these 10 divisions. Maybe we can go against someone like South Africa. Oh, they're in the Commonwealth of Nations, though. That's the problem. Okay, well, let's continue our war in India. Okay, we've finally fixed up my front line now. We currently have air support over the top in southern India, and we're still on convoy escort within here. Looks like the Pakistani are going to lose the Bengali region in the south, and they are really pushing here. So, at the moment, in the German-Indian War, no lives of Great Britain or... The Germans have lost 150 Pakistani. So we're probably going to have to, when this peace conference ends up, allow Pakistan to take some Indian territory, which is a bit of a shame because this is my land I want, to be honest. Right, let's move some tanks further down here and just try and secure our southern position, because trying to push for Bangalore here, we've overextended slightly. So if we can take the bottom half of India here, we're going to be able to ensure our logistics, because we were already suffering a little bit. Once we've got the south under our control, we'll be laughing. Alright, let's try and continue to push where we can. At least make one strong, long front line. Might even just sort of halt the advance for now. We do, of course, need to hold some of the ports in check. Getting the airbase down here. How many planes can be housed in here? I don't know, because I don't have it just yet. However, if it is quite substantial, getting a couple of these airfields, we can actually relocate our air force from Great Britain. Alright, let's continue here now. We're going to make a good front line against India. But fortunately for me, most of their army is distracted in the north. So, only 200, only a measly 200. We've probably actually just got that sort of in our reserves a little bit. Bringing them in, nothing too substantial. But allowing them to operate over the top will be good. Alright, looking at India itself, they're currently in the 87% to capitulation. And we've only lost 10 British lives. Alright, we need to take the south here now. Continuing on. There's a bit of a small push here. They do have, of course, yeah, there's also French and Portuguese intervention. I forget about that. Okay, so we've got 150 political power now. Underline daily support. We can bring in Winston Churchill. It does give us war support as well. So let's bring in Winston, the Royalist Bulldog. Still pretty early on from what I would really be liking to sort of fight a war, but we're doing okay. Like, we are taking a risk. Settings, we're not a fully fledged nation that I'd like to be, like, aggressively fighting these wars, but settings, the Pakistanis are probably going to take India. We need to get it under our control quickly. Okay, so we've got a couple of options here. I'm trying to think whether or not I should relocate those 10 units from Ireland to India. Once we take India, we're going to be able to massively help out Japan if they do join the Axis and go into China. I'm just trying to think, are they needed, like, maybe closer to home with the States or the Commonwealth of Nations? No one seems to be war decking me just yet. There could be a problem if this Mexican Civil War, if, like, the Axis join in on that. That could be an issue. But Hitler at the moment, it's 1938, it's just starting, we're in January 18th. Mesmores and the French still have a major faction. Do I think myself and the Pakistani have enough forces to probably take out India? We probably do, but there's no harm in sending them at least halfway. And even if they do need to come back, we can send them there. So let's move to Dublin for now, and I'm going to reallocate my forces here. So we've got this airbase under our control. We are taking the south of the island now. The Indians don't have a proper air force in place or navy, so they're not doing quite well. We want to try and wrap this up before they take Bangalore. We want to try and take these southern territories quite quickly, because then we've got the supply back in under our control. And we're probably going to be able to take some ground. Like, you're going to be able to push up here. We do need to keep the support in check. Alright. Come down and just quickly gobble up this territory, and then you're going to be able to reallocate yourselves to that front line, and then aggressively push in the north, I would say. Allow our guys to reallocate. We've currently got the southern tip of India under our control. The Indians are fighting a bloody war here on the Pakistani border, and they've just taken that, so we should probably expand in the north here now. We currently have just shy of 1 million recruits, and they've already reallocated some of those forces, so we really need to now start pushing north. So we've lost 2,000 to 1.2, 69,000 Indians have died. Whoa, would you look at that? Germany is sending so many forces here to India to help out and sort of wrap this up. I guess the quicker we get it done, the more we can reallocate our forces back to Europe if the war goes on. But I didn't think Pakistan would be helping us out that much in this war, to be honest. They're actually really helping us out, because India is actually quite strong. I think they start off with like 50 divisions or something, if I'm not mistaken. So now we are fighting with German and Anglo troops in southern India. That's crazy. Now the Pakistani are now trying to push, and India now is at 71% to capitulation. Hopefully we don't get surrounded here, but we're going to be able to push them. Oh, what? India and Pakistan have signed a white peace? Oh my god. Can I call you in? Why have they gone and done that? So Germany's got some territory here, so has Pakistan. Am I still at war with them? Me as Great Britain? Yeah, I am. What the fuck? Why did they do that? Hopefully they didn't, like... Hopefully we didn't lose any of our guys, really. What the hell? It's like massively thrown all the units around here, though. And created mass border gore. Like this Great British territory through the guts. Okay, so I guess seeing's Pakistan, like... Peace the hell out. Bangladesh is at war with Pakistan now. Burma has been broken up. This has turned into a colossal nightmare. Bangladesh, we're not even in that war. So it looks like Pakistan sued for peace for some reason. Oh, well, that gives us a claim for all of India now. Oh, Italy? Hang on a minute. Why are we at war with Italy? I think there were Italian forces there. Anyway, we've just gone and won this war. That is just insane. So we have we're in charge of taking India. So let's pass the war score the entirety to me. Okay, so we've got a couple of options here. I really want India for myself, even though I didn't do most of the work. I actually took the bottom of the south, but the Pakistani did a lot of fighting on this border here. A lot of the fighting, a lot of the dying. So maybe I should just, out of sentiment, give some of it to our Axis brethren there. It's going to make India look a little bit wonky, but we'll give Pakistan a huge chunk of the east while we sort of control the rest of India here, because we do lose Bangladesh and Burma by the look of it. So we do have still somewhat of India under our control. So why are we at war with? Are we at war with the Italians? Or was I tripping? Maybe that were Bengali forces there or something. But anyway, this has been a crazy first episode. So yeah, guys, unfortunately on that note, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. It is the 14th of April, 1938. King Edward is currently at the helm. We've managed to defeat Ireland in a quick war. We've joined the Axis, and we've managed to take most of India here now. And Pakistan has arose as a major Axis power over in the east. It's currently 26% world tension, 14th of August 1938. The Mexican Civil War is still going on, and Bangladesh is at war with Pakistan. So we might sort of jump in on that to help it out. But unfortunately, guys, on that note, it's time to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Let me know where you'd like me to expand and conquer. Now that we have a bit of a strong foothold over here in the east, maybe we should help out Japan when they declare war upon China. Should we go after the Commonwealth of Nations, or should we leave them to a later date? Do we need to start making preparations and helping out Germany? I hope that they don't just get smashed by the French in Czechoslovakia now that they've moved a lot of forces over here into the east. That was probably one of the negative things about me calling them in. Hopefully they reallocate adequately, but only time will tell how this series shapes up. Let me know where you'd like me to expand and conquer. We could go after the French Entente in the next episode. We could go against Mesmers, the Soviet Union, or continue our expansion into Asia and former colonial territories. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you'd like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Highly recommend Twitter. Every single time I post a video, a tweet goes out. It's much more reliable than the YouTube sub box. These days, to get all the notifications for the channel, you have to click the bell, of course, to join the notifications squad. I do enjoy reading those comments. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.